Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna devotees. Once again, welcome everyone for our today's Bhagavad Gita session. So today we'll be discussing Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, which is titled as Bhakti Yoga, the devotional service, the yoga of devotion. So last time we discussed chapter 11, okay, which is Virat Roop Darshan Yoga, the universal form of the Lord, where we heard about the universal form of the Lord. We did not see the universal form, but we saw the universal form of the Lord through hearing. Okay? Because unlike Arjuna, we do not have the Divya Chakshu given by the Lord to see His universal form, but we can see the universal form through hearing. So today we'll move into chapter 12. Okay, before that we'll recite invocation prayers to receive the mercy of the Lordships and Guru Parampara. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Sri Guru Dinatarinim Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyeshwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavedanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratshe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchah Kalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, who knows or who remembers what was chapter 11 or acronym for chapter 11?
Rupa.
Rupa. R-U-P-A. Okay, and will you like to describe what this Rupa stands for as the flow of the chapter?
R stands for request of Arjuna. U stands for the universal form. P stands for prayers of Arjuna after seeing the universal form. And A stands for the armed form.
A stands for armed forms. Okay, good. Hari Bol Pavani. Good job. Okay, so I will just say once again for everybody's benefit if you did not hear clearly. R stands for request of Arjuna. Okay, Arjuna requests the Lord to show his universal form. And his request was, if you see me fit, okay, if you see me fit, please show your universal form to me. So with the request of Arjuna, Lord gave him a Divya Chakshu, the divine vision, to be able to see the universal form of the Lord. And then Lord shows his universal form. So the next section is the universal form of the Lord, the vision of universal form. So universal form described by Lord Krishna himself, universal form of the Lord described by Sanjay to Dhritarashtra, universal form of the Lord described by Arjuna, that what he is seeing and what was the effect of seeing the universal form of the Lord on Arjuna. And after seeing the universal form, Arjuna makes prayers. Okay, so he asks for forgiveness, he pays obeisances, and then further he requests the Lord to show his four-handed form as Narayana and then two-handed form as Shyamasundar. So that last section A is the armed forms of the Lord. Okay, and at the end of the chapter, the last verse, Lord says, Mat karma krit, work for me. Okay, so that was as an instruction of the Lord that we should engage in the service of the Lord. Now moving into chapter 12, which is titled as Bhakti Yoga, the devotional service. It again starts with Arjuna's question. Okay, the title or the acronym for chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita, which we are going to use to understand the flow of this chapter, it's very easy to remember. It's going to be God, G-O-D. Okay, so it's going to be very easy to remember for everyone. So acronym is God, G-O-D. So the first section, the first set of verses 1 through 7, based on Arjuna's question, it is the Godhead. Okay, Arjuna is going to ask, what is better? Is it better to worship the personal form of the Lord, or is it better to worship the impersonal form of the Lord? Out of the two, one who is worshipping the personal form, the personalist, or the ones who is attracted to the impersonal form, the impersonalist, out of the two, who is better? Okay, and the Lord is going to explain. So that is, G is Godhead, and then O is options. Lord Krishna gives various options for the practice of bhakti. Okay, Lord Krishna is going to give progressive stages of bhakti. If you cannot do this, then do this. If you cannot do that also, then do this. So like that, Lord Krishna gives many different options. So that is O, text verses 8 through 12. And then D is devotee's disposition. Many of the qualities of the devotee which is explained, the qualities that are endear one to Krishna, which makes one very dear to Krishna. Okay, so those are devotee's disposition. So what are the devotee's qualities? What is devotee's disposition towards himself, toward other people, towards the nature, towards the whole world, and towards Krishna? Okay, so that is what is devotee's disposition towards these various entities. So that is, in nutshell, the flow of chapter 12, G-O-D. Okay, now it starts with first verse, which is Arjuna's question to the Supreme Lord. Arjuna uvacha evam satata yukta ye bhaktastvam paryupasate ye chapi aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamah. So Arjuna asks this question, what is better? Is it better to focus on the impersonal aspect? Okay, aksharam avyaktam. So is it better to focus on the impersonal aspect or to worship the personal form of the Lord? Okay, so in other words, whose position is secure? Arjuna wanted to confirm, is his position secure because he is attracted to the personal form of the Lord? The chapter 11 ended with Arjuna asked Krishna to show his two-handed beautiful Shyamasundar form, because Arjuna is attracted to the personal form of the Lord. So indirectly Arjuna wanted to understand, is his position secure? Okay, because he is attracted to the personal form. So who is better? One who is attracted to the impersonal aspect, or one who is attracted to the personal form of the Lord? Okay, so that is how this chapter 12 starts. Personalist or impersonalist? Now, who are impersonalists? Those who are attracted to the impersonal form, basically the Brahman, Brahma Jyoti. Some people claim God is just some energy, He is just some light, God is everywhere. So they are attracted to the impersonal form. In that category, they are two different divisions, Brahmavadis and Mayavadis. So both Brahmavadis and Mayavadis, they are attracted towards the impersonal form. But Brahmavadi, yes, they have more inclination towards the impersonal form, but at least they do not deny or reject the personal form of the Lord. They are just more attracted toward the impersonal form. Whereas Mayavadis, they offend the personal form of the Lord. They deny the personal form of the Lord. Okay, they say God cannot have a form, because generally their understanding is something having form means it's limited. Okay, it is covered by the three modes of material nature. They do not understand that the Supreme Lord, He has form which is Satchit Anand. His form is not made of the three modes of material nature. It is not influenced by the three modes of material nature. So, generally impersonalists, they are considered as lazy people. They do not accept the form of the Lord, or they do not have inclination towards the form of the Lord. Why? Because if you accept the form of the Lord, means you have to keep some Archa Vigraha at home, then you have to bathe them, you have to dress them, you have to feed them, you have to cook for them, you have to offer bhoga, you have to buy dress for them, you have to buy jewelry for them, you have to do dhup agarbatti, offer nivedya. And they think, oh, who will do all these tasks? Why to trouble oneself so much? So they are not attracted to the personal form of the Lord. Rather, they think, oh, Lord is present everywhere, and just worship the impersonal form. When we say form, rupa, and when we say impersonal form, okay, what is the question of form? Impersonal means where is the question of form then? Because people who are attracted to the impersonal form, they also have to think of some form. Either they will start worshipping some river, some mountain, some object they will make as a representative of the Supreme Lord. Okay, so that is impersonal form, seeing God in some particular entity in nature. Okay. So there are these two categories, the Mayavadis or Brahmavadis, which are impersonalists, and the personalists who accept the personal form of the Lord. They are attracted towards the personal form. They want to serve the Lord. And there is actually third category also, which we are not talking here. Arjuna is not even talking about the third category, which is atheists, who do not even believe in God. Once Prabhupada was asked by a reporter, okay, you are saying God, Krishna is God, you are worshipping God, you are establishing temples of Krishna, worshipping the Archa Vigraha form of the Lord. What if at the end of life you come to know there is no God? God does not exist, or Krishna is not God. And Prabhupada said, even for your wild imagination, even you think if God does not exist, or if at the end somebody come to know, okay, God does not exist, there is still no harm, because the devotees lead a very good balanced life. They get up early in the morning, they take shower, and throughout the day they engage in so many activities, they keep themselves pure. So there is no loss. But let me ask you this same question. If at the end of your life you come to know God does exist, what will be your situation? You have wasted all the life doing sinful activities, and at the end of life, now you come to know, yes, God does exist. There is something called karma. There is real birth. The Yamadutas are ready to snatch you out of the body, and they're ready to make your chutney. So what will happen to you at that time? So for devotees, they are attracted to the form of the Lord, and they dovetail all their activities in that way. From morning to evening, they are conscious of God. So their life is very balanced. It's a very pure life. So Arjuna's question is, who is better, impersonalist or personalist? And text 2, Krishna answers Arjuna's question. Krishna makes it very clear that worshipping him in his personal form is superior. Okay, Krishna does not deny that, yes, I have the impersonal aspect also. There are three different aspects of the Lord. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaniti Shabdyate. Brahman, Paramatma, and the personal form of the Lord. So these are the three simultaneous aspects of the Lord. Just for understanding, if you see the train coming from far distance, if somebody has never seen a train in their life, they have no imagination of train, what the train looks like, what the train is all about. And if somebody is told, oh, train is going to come, and they are very eager to see this train, what this train is, if three people, they stand there and one person, he is impatient, he start running towards from the direction from which train is coming, and from far distance that person sees the train coming and all he sees is a big light in the front, and he is not able to see anything else behind that big light. And he comes back and tells everybody, oh, train means a big light. I saw the train coming, it's a big light. And the second person, he was a little more patient. He saw the train coming. As the train was getting closer and closer, he saw there was a big light, and behind the light there was an engine. So he also after that came back and told, train means there is a source of light and behind that there is a big engine. And then the third person was a little more patient. He waited. The train came closer and closer. It came on the platform and finally the train stopped there. He got inside the train. He saw there are so many different compartments in the train. Inside there are seats, there are fans, there are lights, there are people sitting inside. And he came back and gave the complete description of the train. So train has all these three aspects. The train has a big headlight in front. There is an engine, and then there are many bogies with all these different paraphernalia inside. So same way the Supreme Lord, he is Brahman, which is the effulgence of the Lord. Brahman is nothing but the effulgence, the aura, which is coming out of the transcendental body of the Lord. That is the Brahman, Brahma Jyoti. And then Paramatma is the localized aspect of the Supreme Lord, sitting in everybody's heart. And it is also referred as Shirodakshaya Vishnu. Inside, so Mahavishnu expands as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is lying on the bottom of the universe, from whom a lotus grows, from whose navel the lotus grows, and on that lotus Brahma is born. And then Garbhodakshaya Vishnu further expands as Shirodakshaya Vishnu, who is resting at the top of the universe, and he also enters into the heart of every living entity. That is Paramatma. So the localized aspect of the Supreme Lord. But behind that, there is the Supreme Lord in his personal form, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the personal form of the Lord, Bhagavan. So Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti Shabdyate. These are the three aspects of the Supreme Lord. So Krishna answers Arjuna's question, worshipping me in my personal form is superior. And Krishna further tell, otherwise advancement is very troublesome for those who are attracted to the impersonal form of the Lord. Because impersonal is not reciprocal. There is no reciprocal kind of reciprocation with the impersonal. When we talk about any Leela of the Lord's exchange with his devotees, it all contains the personal form of the Lord. So now Damodar month is going on, and while offering lamp to the Lord, we sing this Damodar Ashtakam. The first stanza of this Ashtakam says, Namamishwaram Satchidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam. So what is this particular stanza saying? Namam Ishwaram. So Namami Ishwaram. So Namami means to bow down, pay obeisances. Ishvara refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is described as Satchit Ananda Rupam. Okay, so this Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has a transcendental form made of which is full of eternity, bliss and knowledge. Rupam. Rupam means form. So I pay obeisances to the Supreme Lord, whose form is full of bliss, knowledge and eternity. So any pastime, any Leela of the Lord is not possible without Rupam, without the form. Because Brahma Jyoti cannot perform activities, Brahma Jyoti cannot perform pastimes, it cannot give association. So this is how the first stanza of this Damodar Ashtakam reminds us that this is a Leela, this is a pastime behind which there is a Supreme Person. So Krishna says, somebody who worships my personal form, he is better. But those who worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, which is all pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the Absolute. How they worship that impersonal aspect? By controlling the senses, by being equally disposed to everyone, by engaging in the welfare of all. So if somebody engages in this way to worship the unmanifest, the impersonal Brahman, so at last they can also achieve me. So Krishna says, yes, the impersonalist also can achieve me. What will they achieve? Whatever they worship. If they are worshipping the Brahma Jyoti, at the most they can reach Brahma Jyoti. It's not that you worship Brahma Jyoti and then you can reach Goloka Dham. Because they do not have faith in the personal form of the Lord, in the abode of the Lord. So at the most what they will attain is the Brahma Jyoti, which they worship. And what is the meaning of achieving the Brahma Jyoti? What you do there? So basically you are hanging in the rays of that Brahma Jyoti. There is no activity there. Just imagine if you are told that I will put you inside a room, 6 by 6 room, there is a table, there is a chair. You just sit on that chair, nothing to do. Okay, don't do anything, don't move around anything, just sit there on the chair. How many of us will be interested in that? Okay. So you are very peaceful, there is no trouble, there is no calamity, but you just sit there, nothing to do. People will get bored if there is nothing to do, because ultimately everybody wants enjoyment. Enjoyment means varietedness, variety, some activity. So the impersonalists who control their senses, being equally disposed to everyone, working for the welfare of everyone, at last they can achieve the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. But Krishna says this is very troublesome. It is very difficult. Okay, people, because to be equally disposed to everything, seeing Krishna in each and everything, having equal disposition towards everything, it's very difficult. One Srila Prabhupada, he was invited to Gita Sammelan in Amritsar. Yeah, after Prabhupada went some Western disciples from USA, from Europe, and Prabhupada went to India. When Prabhupada was in India, there was some Gita Sammelan happening in Amritsar, and Prabhupada was invited to come attend that Gita Sammelan. So with some of his disciples, one of them was Guru Das. Prabhupada went to Amritsar, and as Prabhupada went to this place where this whole event was organized, on the pandal, on the stage, Prabhupada saw there was no picture of Krishna, there was no picture of kind of even poster of Bhagavad Gita. All they had is a lamp, okay, on the stage, representing the Supreme Brahman. And Prabhupada did not like it at all. Prabhupada said, you are doing this Gita Sammelan, Krishna has spoken this Gita, where is Krishna? And they pointed to the lamp. Prabhupada, here is Krishna represented as the light. And Prabhupada was very upset. Prabhupada immediately left from that pandal, and they had a list of speakers. They had invited many different speakers to come and give their talks, their understanding on Bhagavad Gita, and Prabhupada's name was in the last. So Prabhupada left, he went to his room and he told his disciple to be there. And all these speakers, they were speaking all their Mayavadi philosophies. And at the end, when Prabhupada's number was coming, they went to Prabhupada and told Swamiji, you are about to give talk. And Prabhupada said, I have told one of my disciples to take care of this. He is enough for you guys. So Prabhupada disciple Guru Das Prabhu, he started speaking. So you are saying God is present everywhere. He is Brahma Jyoti, He is Nirakar. So one should have equal vision towards everything. Now you see this rasgulla or gulab jamun. This is full of juice. When you see this rasgulla or gulab jamun, the mouth start watering. But when you see the stool on the street, do you see the stool also in same way? Does your mouth start watering seeing the stool? Because you are saying you should have equal vision towards everything. God is present in everything. So you should have equal disposition towards rasgulla and the stool. And all these people who were sitting there were very disgusted. They were very angry. What is this person speaking? And they went to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, your disciple, he is speaking this kind of analogy. He is telling us that you should eat stool also. And Prabhupada said, oh, did he say like that? I will talk to him. And Prabhupada said, please forgive him. My Western disciples, they like to give very kind of a visual analogies. And later on, when Prabhupada asked him, Prabhupada said, very nice analogy. So the point here is Krishna is saying somebody who is interested towards the impersonal aspect of the Lord, it is very troublesome for the embodied people, somebody who is having a form, for them to be attracted towards the impersonal, formless object, it's very difficult. It's very troublesome. And if, yes, somebody who is able to have equal disposition towards everybody, doing welfare of everybody, controlling all his senses, they can at last attain me. But bhakti, the process of bhakti is very easy. Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sannyasa matparaha ananyeva yogena mam dhyayatah upasate tesham aham samudbharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami na chirat partha mai avayashitah chetasam. So those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, yetu sarvani karmani mai sannyasa matparaha. So who give up all their activities unto me, thus completely engaged in my devotional service, always meditating upon me, mam dhyayantah upasate. So having fixed their mind upon me, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Tesham aham samudbharata mrityu samsara sagarat. So this material world is like the ocean, and Krishna says, I very easily pick them out of this ocean. Tesham aham samudbharata. Bhavami na chirat paratha. And it does not take long. For the impersonal thing, Krishna says, at last, after many lifetimes, yes, they can also attain Brahma Jyoti, but it is very troublesome. Here for the personal form, if somebody is worshipping the personal form of the Lord, Krishna says it's very easy, first of all, and it does not take long. Bhavami na chirat partha. For them, I am the swift deliverer from this ocean of birth and death. So that is the comparison between impersonalist and personalist. So those who worship me and focus their mind on me, Krishna says, I am the swift deliverer. And everybody can do bhakti. See, if somebody has to meditate on the impersonal, following the process of Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, if we see sometimes the picture of some yogi sitting there and it is showing all complete just bones left in the body, okay, they have completely emancipated their own body. Thousands and thousands years of austerities, tapasya. How many of us can do that? In Kali Yuga, that's not practical, first of all. And maybe somebody can do that, not everybody. The woman, the children, the old. All these category of people cannot perform that sort of austerity and that sort of process. But bhakti can be done by anybody and everybody. Women can do bhakti, children can do bhakti, old people can do bhakti, young people can do bhakti, Indian can do bhakti, Western can do bhakti, Desi, Videsi, anybody can do bhakti. The process of bhakti is so sublime and it's so easy. Okay, even if the mother cooks and after cooking mother makes the plate, even if the small children are trained little bit, they how to offer, mother sometime will tell the child, 5-7-year-old child also, better go and make this offering. And the boy will go put the plate in front of the Lord, ring the bell, recite the prayers. So even the children who are trained properly, they can also do these simple activities of offering the bhoga, the nevedya to the Lord, even doing the arati to the Lord. So anybody can perform bhakti. And the process of bhakti is so easy. Even sometimes we even do not know that this is part of bhakti. By just doing that activity, one is receiving the benefit. Okay, once there was one person who is not a devotee and he is doing all sort of sinful activities also. One, he was traveling in the ship and the particular cabin in which he stayed, in which he went, somebody before him, he left one plant there. They forgot one plant there. And this person who was living in this cabin, he saw this plant, and as he came to his destination, he took that plant with him. He brought the plant home. And he started taking care of that plant, watering the plant and all that. He started serving him. Slowly what happened, he felt that his tendency to do those sinful activities, smoking, drinking, illicit relation, all those bad habits were going away. He was getting disinterested on those sort of activities. One day he was walking on the street and he saw the devotees doing Harinam Kirtan, Harinam Sankirtan on the street, distributing books. So one devotee approached this person and gave him Bhagavad Gita, please take this book. So he took this Bhagavad Gita, brought home, started reading Bhagavad Gita, and at the page, cover page, at the last page, there was address of the temple, the local temple. He went to the temple there. He liked the program so much, he started visiting often. And after he started chanting also, after some days, one devotee asked him, so Prabhuji, how did you become a devotee? Now this person, the newly became devotee, he said, I do not know, but I have some speculation. See, when I come to temple, I see there is a plant which is worshipped. The Tulsi Maharani, devotees are worshipping Tulsi Maharani, offering water and doing pradakshina. And I think I also have that sort of plant at my home. I got that from the ship when I was traveling and I brought that plant with me. I started taking care of that plant and slowly my bad habits starting to go away. And this devotee who heard all this thing, he became very excited. Please, will you take me home and show me this plant? Is this Tulsi? So he took him home and the devotee saw this was really a Tulsi plant. So this person unknowingly, he brought Tulsi plant at home. He started taking care of the Tulsi plant, giving water. And by just serving Tulsi, what has happened? His bad tendencies, his wrong habits started to go away. He became disinterested in those wrong habits. So unknowingly serving Tulsi also was so beneficial because serving Tulsi is also a limb of bhakti. Okay, if we read those 64 limbs of bhakti, the 64 devotional activities, one of them is watering the Tulsi, circumambulating the Tulsi. So just by serving Tulsi Maharani also, one is performing bhakti. That can also transform somebody's heart. So Krishna says process of bhakti is so easy, it's so sublime. And very easily somebody can attain me. and very easily they can come to me. I am the swift deliverer for them. Whereas the process of worshipping the impersonal, meditating on the impersonal, it's very difficult, it's very troublesome. So this first section, Krishna spoke about what is better, worshipping the personal or the impersonal, and Krishna gave his opinion that worshipping the personal form of the Lord is best. I was seeing one video clip of Zakir Naik, who happens to be converting people and kind of polluting their mind, taking them away from our actual Vedic philosophies. They take some portion from here and there and they try to say, oh, this is what Bhagavad Gita is speaking. I know Bhagavad Gita. I am also a student of Bhagavad Gita. And he will try to quote some verse from Bhagavad Gita showing his knowledge about Bhagavad Gita, but they have complete twisted philosophy. And by speaking some aspect of Bhagavad Gita with his own viewpoint, he is trying to prove that Bhagavad Gita also says that one should not do deity worship. And once one ISKCON devotee, he happened to go to his program and he kind of debated that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, worshipping my personal form is better. Arjuna had asked this question and he quoted the verse. And this fool, this nonsense rascal, he says, as you are such a small boy, I cannot debate with you. See, I also have some status. What will people think that I am debating with the small boy? I am telling you, you go read this in chapter 7, you go read this in chapter 9. And he was just giving all some vague verses and vague references. Oh, you go read this, read that. He is not able to accept a defeat from a young devotee also. Because when somebody is having the proper knowledge, having read Bhagavad Gita systematically, understood the message systematically, they can defeat all these rascals, this nonsense people who pose themselves as big scholars and they try to divert people in wrong way, in wrong direction. So Bhagavad Gita is very clearly speaking, Krishna himself is saying that I endorse worship of my personal form. So after saying that, now text 8 through 11, Krishna is giving hierarchy of different processes within bhakti. What is better? If you cannot do this, at least then do this. If you cannot do that also, then do this. So Krishna is providing various options in the path of bhakti. First, Krishna says the best is internal bhakti. Internal bhakti means which is spontaneous. Smarnatmika bhakti, when meditating on Krishna with one's mind and intelligence. So Krishna says Smarnatmika bhakti, which is spontaneous, what we also refer to as Raganuga bhakti. That is best, that is internal bhakti. Somebody's heart is attracted towards Krishna. They, without any endeavor, they are able to remember Krishna. And Krishna says, okay, if you cannot do Smarnatmika bhakti, then do Mananatmika bhakti. Mananatmika bhakti means with your intelligence, you can focus your attention on some passage from Bhagavad Gita, from Bhagavatam. Think of different leelas which are spoken in these different scriptures. And in that way, try to focus your mind on Krishna. One thing is, naturally mind goes towards Krishna. That is Smarnatmika. If you cannot do Smarnatmika, then Krishna says, okay, do Mananatmika. With your intelligence, by reading through the scriptures, you try to focus on the different aspect, different qualities. As we say, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Ityadi. So focus on the name of Krishna, his pastimes, his qualities. And then, if you cannot even do that, then Krishna says, Abhyasa Yogena. Endeavoring to fix mind on Krishna by practice, by following particular rules and regulation. Okay, so these are the categories of internal bhakti. Three things Krishna is saying. Smarna Atmika bhakti, then Manan Atmika bhakti, then Abhyasa Yogena. So text 8 and 9, Krishna gives these three options. And then if you cannot even do that also, then Krishna says, okay, do Mad arth karma. Work for me. External bhakti. Engage your senses. If not your mind and intelligence, then engage your senses. Work for me at least. If you cannot do that also, then Krishna says Nishkama Karma Yoga. Offer the result of your activities to me. At least give away the property of proprietorship, enjoyment propensity. So that is the hierarchy. Now let's understand what are these different options Krishna is giving in a little bit more detail with some examples. So first Krishna says, he talked about internal bhakti, as I said, spontaneous bhakti, raga nuga bhakti. So Krishna says smarna atmika bhakti. So mind automatically goes towards Krishna without any effort. Okay, without any effort. Like Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj, his qualities are described as Vasudeva Bhagavati Naisargiki Rati. Prahlad Maharaj has Naisargiki Rati for Lord Vasudeva. A spontaneous attraction. He is constantly thinking of Krishna. If for 1 minute he forgets about Krishna, he starts crying. Again, after he remembers, he starts laughing. So that is spontaneous bhakti. Okay, so that is, Krishna says, is the best. Smarna Atmika Bhakti. Like we hear about Raghunath Das Goswami also. Raghunath Das Goswami, when he is in Vrindavan, he is sitting at the Yamuna or Radha Kund, and he is constantly chanting the names of Krishna. He forgets all about his surroundings. Sometimes it's too sunny, it's too much heat, and Srimati Radharani comes and shades with her pallu. So Raghunath Das Goswami is also at this level of smarnatmika bhakti. He just forgets all his surroundings. He's constantly thinking of Krishna, completely absorbed in that. And once a tiger comes to drink water in the kund, and Raghunath Das Goswami is sitting there, he is completely oblivious to this thing. And Krishna himself comes to protect. So that is spontaneous remembrance about Krishna. Like a mother, if mother look at some child paraphernalia, some baby shoes or baby cloth, immediately she will remember the baby. If the child has gone to school or somewhere else and mother at home look at some of these things, she will immediately remember the child. Her attention immediately goes towards the child. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just looking at the ocean in Jagannath Puri, he thinks this is Yamuna and he immediately runs towards it. So these are the examples of spontaneous attraction towards Krishna, smarnatmika bhakti. So that is the first stage which Krishna is proposing here, that okay, do smarnatmika bhakti. If you cannot do smarnatmika bhakti, then do mananatmika bhakti. Conscious efforts to think of Krishna. So smarnatmika is unconscious effort. You don't have to put efforts in remembering Krishna. We are not at that level, that okay, without any effort we are remembering Krishna. But then, okay, at least put efforts, conscious efforts to remember Krishna. Contemplating on Krishna, using intelligence, studying about Krishna and his pastimes, studying from the scriptures, and in that way trying to remember Krishna. Krishna says, okay, if you cannot do that also, then do abhyas yogena tato mat ichchapatum dhananjaya. So do abhyasa yoga. Abhyasa yoga means if you cannot fix your mind and intelligence in that way, at least try to do abhyas. Follow the rules and regulation, the regulative principles of bhakti. So now Krishna is talking about sadhana bhakti. Okay, so at least if you cannot do raganuga bhakti, then do sadhana bhakti, Vedi bhakti. That is what we all of us do. We do Vedi bhakti, sadhana bhakti, following certain rules and regulation, getting up in the morning, taking bath, chanting prescribed number of rounds, offering nevedya to the Lord, worshipping the Lord, offering the bhoga to the Lord, observing Ekadashi Brata, coming to the temple, dancing in the kirtan. So all these are abhyasa yogena. Follow the certain prescribed rules and regulation. In that way, Krishna says, develop the desire to attain me. So at the level of smaranatmika bhakti, mananatmika bhakti, one already has a strong desire. They are already fully absorbed in Krishna. But at least do, Krishna says, if you cannot do that, do abhyasa yogena. Follow the rules and regulation and develop a desire to attain me. Okay, so that is what most of us, we try to do. We follow this certain principle. And Krishna says, okay, if you cannot even do that also, then at least do external bhakti. What is this external bhakti? Try to engage your senses in my service. If you are not able to engage your mind and intelligence, so mad artham api karmani. Work for my sake. Okay, some people, they come to the temple, they can sweep the floor, they can do pot washing, picking flowers for Krishna. Okay, we have seen sometime people in the beginning, they are not interested in chanting, they are not interested in fasting for Ekadashi or on the festivals, but they are eager to do some service. Okay, they are okay to do service. They will come to temple, they can wash pots, they can sweep the floor. They may not be interested in chanting. Slowly, after doing these activity, they progress to the next stage. Now they develop desire to chant. Okay, power of association. Okay, that is also one of the aspects, because of being in association of devotees, after rendering some service, after getting some purification, now they develop the desire to move to the next stage of doing abhyasa yogena. But Krishna here is telling, okay, if you cannot do abhyasa yogena, then do at least work for me. Mad artham api karmani. Do these some services, work for me. And many of you also have maybe practically realized this, or you have witnessed this. Either you have witnessed, realized for yourself or for somebody else. I have seen so many devotees in the beginning. Okay, if you tell them please chant, they are not interested in chanting, but they are interested in doing service. They can do some service. They can wash the pots, they can clean the floor, they can go do some grocery for Krishna, they can pick the flowers. So all these things they are ready to do. But please don't tell us chanting. Chanting is very difficult. Okay, following other process, rules and regulation, that is difficult. Krishna says, okay, no problem. You cannot do this, at least start from here. At least do this. Mat artham karamani. If you cannot do that also, Krishna gives further option. Okay, even if you cannot work for my sake, then at least try to give the fruit of your work for my service. What does it mean? Giving charity for Krishna service. Okay, somebody can give charity, donate something for Krishna service, sponsoring Sunday feast, okay, doing some other donation for some festival, helping in building the temple of the Lord, helping in some preaching activity. So at least give some donation for Krishna service or for service of society. In that way, Krishna says, try to develop detachment. At least try to develop some detachment from the result of your activities. So that is also a level of external bhakti. So in that way, Krishna gives so many different levels within bhakti. If you cannot do that, at least do this. If you cannot do that, at least do this. So 12.8, Krishna said, fix your mind upon me and you will reside in me. 12.9, then Krishna says, if you cannot fix your mind, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga and develop a desire to attain me. So Krishna has very clearly replied that those who fix their mind and intelligence on Krishna, they are better situated. And Krishna has very sweetly and lovingly promised that he becomes the personal deliverer of his devotees. Tesham aham samudbharta mrityu samsara sagarat. Okay, just like an example, if somebody falls into the ditch, okay, and he is shouting for help, somebody hears the voice and he comes to the ditch, and seeing this person fallen inside the ditch, he throws a rope. Now if the person who has fallen inside the ditch, he is not able to catch the rope, then this person standing on the top, he will lower it little further, then little further, until it is able to reach that person. The person is able to catch that rope. So same way Krishna, he keep lowering the standards, he keep lowering the requirements to achieve him. If you cannot do this, do this. If you cannot do that, at least do this. So in that way Krishna keep lowering that rope to hold on to that rope of bhakti, so Krishna can pull that person out from this ocean of birth and death. So what we have to do is we have to develop the desire to obtain Krishna. So after explaining this in 8 through 11, in verse 12, Krishna summarizes this and gives the hierarchy. What is the hierarchy within bhakti? Now sometimes people get confused with this and they start comparing it with different yoga systems. The Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. So they think, oh, this is the hierarchy within these different yoga systems. No, here Krishna is giving hierarchy within this bhakti, what Krishna has described in text 8 through 11. So Krishna says, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat, jnana dhyanam vishishyate, dhyanat karma phala tyagas, tyagas shantir anantaram. So here Krishna gives hierarchy, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat. So compared to Abhyasa Yoga, the practice by following the rules and regulation, better than that is Jnanam. Here Jnanam is referring to that Mananatmika Bhakti. Okay, remembering Krishna with knowledge by reading something about Krishna, hearing something about Krishna. So it's not the Jnana Yoga which we have talked earlier. Here Krishna says basically the Mananatmika Bhakti. So better than Abhyasa Yoga, by following rules and regulation, better than that is Mananatmika Bhakti. Jnanat dhyanam vishishyate. Better than Mananatmika Bhakti is Smarnatmika Bhakti. Dhyanam. Okay, where one's attention constantly flows towards Krishna without endeavor. And what will happen with Dhyanam, with constant meditation on Krishna, with Smarnatmika Bhakti, what will happen? Dhyanat karma phala tyagas. By following this process of Smarnatmika Bhakti, which is at the stage of Bhava, one easily becomes detached from the result of one's Bhukti and Mukti. So when somebody is at the level of Smarnatmika Bhakti, Dhyana, that meditation, at the stage of Bhava Bhakti, one becomes naturally detached for his own enjoyment. And with that detachment, Tyagat Shantir Anantaram. With that detachment, one attains that everlasting peace, absorbing his senses only in Krishna's service. So that is the hierarchy which is given here in text 12. So after describing that, okay, bhakti is best, how to do bhakti, what are the different options. Now further, text 13 to 20, Krishna talks about the disposition of a devotee, the qualities of a devotee, what kind of qualities the devotee develop or the devotee should have. Okay, so we'll briefly discuss these qualities here. So Krishna says, Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitrah karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankara samadukha sukha kshami santushta satatam yogi yatatma dhrida nischaya mayyarpita mano buddhir yomad bhaktah same priyah. So this verses text through 20, now Krishna is going to talk about devotee's disposition towards himself. What are the internal qualities of a devotee? What is his attitude towards others, towards the society, and towards Krishna? Okay, so the disposition of a devotee. So adveshta sarva bhutanam. So the devotee naturally becomes equal to everybody. He is not envious to anybody. Maitreh karuna evacha. He feels friendly towards everybody. He shows karuna for everybody, for all the fallen living entities. Nirmamo nirahankara. He is free from ego and attachment, ahamta and mamata. He is sama dukkha sukha kshami. He is happy by seeing anybody else happy, and he becomes sad by seeing somebody else miserable. Okay? So that is the quality of a devotee, Vaishnava. When the Vaishnava sees somebody in misery, he also feels that misery. That's why they say devotee is like butter. When the butter is close to the fire, it melts. So the same way the devotee's heart melts by seeing somebody else in a misery. And santushta satatam yogi, he is always satisfied. He is very determined in performing devotional service. That is his attitude towards Krishna. Okay, for the service of Krishna, he is ever determined. Yatatma dridha nischaya. Mai arpita mano buddhi. Krishna says their mind, their intelligence, their chitta is constantly engaged in me. And such devotee, yo mad bhakta same priya. He becomes very dear to me. If we tell somebody, once one devotee was describing these qualities, the qualities of a devotee, or indirectly basically telling the devotee that we should develop these qualities. अगर हमारे अंदर ये सब गुण आ जाएं तो हम भगवान को प्यारे हो जाएंगे. So now भगवान को प्यारे हो जाएंगे, people take it in a different phrase also, right? What is the general phrase used? भगवान को प्यारे हो गए मतलब he died. So devotee was telling, अगर if we develop these good qualities, then we will become dear to God. हिंदी में बता रहे थे तो हम भगवान को प्यारे हो जाएंगे, मतलब भगवान के प्रिय हो जाएंगे. The other person who was listening, he got scared. भगवान को प्यारे हो जाएंगे मतलब क्या, we will die? So that is not the meaning here. So Krishna says, yo mad bhakta same priya. That devotee, that person becomes very dear to me. So devotee should develop these qualities, and by following this practice of bhakti, slowly somebody gets those qualities, they develop those qualities. Being equipoised to everybody, equal in all situations, be it happiness or distress. Okay, in Ramayana also there is a particular shloka which comes. It says, Vashishta Rishi is speaking to Bharat. When Bharat returns from his Nanihal, he is called after the death of Dashrath Maharaj. As he arrives in Ayodhya, after knowing that Maharaj Dashrath has passed away, Lord Ramachandra along with Lakshman and Sita have gone to the forest. So Bharat was under anxiety, he was crying. And Vashishta Maharaj told that first you do the funeral rites for your father Dashrath Maharaj, and then we will think of the next step. And Vashishta Maharaj himself, Vashishta Muni himself, he is also crying and he is addressing to Bharata. He is speaking to Bharata. Suno Bharat bhavi praval bilak kaho muninath hani labh jivan maran yash apayash vidhihat. So Vashishta Muni is telling Bharat that there are certain things on which nobody has control. They are under the control of Vidhi. Vidhi means basically destiny. So what are these things? Hani, Labh, Yash, Apayash, Jivan, Maran. So these 6 things he is describing, that we do not have control on these things. Okay, so it means we should not be getting affected by any things, or we have no control on these things. Means, are we robot? Everything is just going on as per destiny. What does it really mean? So when we say Hani, Labh, Jivan, Maran, Yash, Apayash, Vidhihat, these things will come on its own accord. Sometime there may be gain, sometime there may be loss, sometime there may be fame, sometime infamy. There is birth, there is death also certain. So these things will happen. Those are not in our hands. Then what is in our hand? How we react in those situations. That is in our hands. When somebody gets lost, not to get discouraged by seeing the loss, not just sit down and keep crying. That is in our control. That is in our hand. And then labh, when somebody gains something, Not to start jumping and start partying and everything, become overjoyed, become proud of that because of some achievement. That is in our hand. Somebody can get proud and somebody can start overjoyed, feeling overjoyed because of some gain, or somebody can stay sober and just think this is mercy of the Lord. Because of the mercy of the Lord, I achieved this thing, I gained this thing. So that is in our hand, how we react to those situations. Then yash apayash, getting fame, that can come based on destiny, but how do we react in that situation? Not getting proud by getting some fame. And apayash, not getting discouraged or with if somebody is criticizing, somebody is minimizing somebody's position. So not feeling discouraged because of that. That is in our hands. Birth is not in our hand. Death is not in our hand. But between birth and death, what kind of activities we do, how we live our life, that is in our hands. Okay? So the devotee, he live a meaningful, purposeful life, kind of fully dovetailing his consciousness in the service of the Lord. So that is what Krishna is describing here, that my devotee, he developed these qualities, and in that way, such devotee is very dear to me. And then Krishna says, Yasman no dvijate loko, lokan no dvijate chaya, harsha marsha bhayodveger mukto yah sa me priya. So he by whom no one is put into difficulty, and who is not disturbed by anyone. He is equipoised in happiness and distress, in fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. So Krishna says, my devotee does not put somebody else in trouble. And if somebody is troubling my devotee, he is not disturbed by that. So no one is put in difficulty, in anxiety, in fearfulness by my devotee. And at the same time, if others try to put my devotee into anxiety, he is not disturbed. Even if somebody is criticizing or blaspheming the devotee, he thinks, okay, this is my own karma. Because of that, this person is becoming an instrument and coming the result of my karma. And he is actually we should actually feel thankful to that person, that, oh, he is helping me to get rid me of my karma. So those are the qualities of a devotee which makes the devotee very dear to Krishna. And further Krishna says, Anahapeksha shuchirdaksha udasino gata vyatha sarvarambha parityagi yo madbhakta same priya. So my devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary cause of activities, who is pure, expert, he does not care for anything else, he is free from the pains, he is not striving for some results. That is very dear to me. So when we read about these qualities, we may feel, oh, these are too much. Okay, am I at that level, or when will I get at that level? But we do not have to worry about these. These qualities will come. We have to work towards some, and some qualities will come on its own after some time. Okay, it takes time to get to that state of consciousness. Yo na harshati na dveshati na shochati na kankshati shubha shubha parityagi bhakti manasa me priya. So one who neither rejoices nor grieves. Yo na harshati na dveshati na shochati na kankshati. He neither laments for something nor desires something. Who has renounced all auspicious and inauspicious things. Such a devotee is very dear to me. So I'm not going into each and every qualities describing in detail, because then each of these in itself could be a big topic. Okay, to speak about each quality in detail by quoting so many different examples and all. So here briefly we are just going over the different qualities which Krishna is describing, the disposition of a devotee. That this devotee, my devotee, is equal to everyone, he is friend to everyone, he is not inimical towards everyone, he does not envy everyone, So again and again Krishna is telling these things, that my devotees remains equal in all situations, be it fame or disfame. So next verse also Krishna says, Samha Shatru cha mitre cha tatha man apamanayo shitoshna sukha dukkheshu samha sangha vivarjitah tulya nindastu tirmoni santushto yena kenachit aniketa sthirmatir bhaktiman me priyo naraha. So all these qualities are again described. Samha Shatru cha mitre cha. He is equal to the friends and enemy. For him there is no enemy, but if somebody try to become enemy towards the devotee does not think him as an enemy. He is equal to everyone. Tatha mana pamaneyo. In fame and infamy he is equal. Shitoshna. Either it's winter or cold. For him it's all same. Sukha dukkha. Either it's happiness or distress. Samah sangha vivarjita. And he tried to avoid the wrong association. Sangha vivarjita. And this Sangha Vivarjita comes at many places actually. Krishna says devotee should avoid the wrong association. Asat Sangha. Asat Sang Tyago Ei Vaishnava Achar. In Chaitanya Charitamrita also it comes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing the devotee should give up the association of the non-devotees. And what does this really mean, that give up the association of the non-devotees? How to avoid the worldly association, how to give up non-devotee association. Because somebody in our family also may not be devotee. Not everybody in our family is a devotee. So how can we give up their association? So what does it really mean? That one should give up the association of worldly people, association of the non-devotees. The point is, we do not talk about our bhakti activities, or we do not talk about our challenges in our sadhana bhakti with these people, with worldly people, with non-devotees. Yes, we may be in the association based on whatever the worldly affairs are. If you are going to your office, you have to associate with them, but associate what is needed. Beyond that, do not try to share your heart with them. Do not exchange emotions with them in the bhakti emotions. For example, if you are having challenges in bhakti, if you are having challenges in your japa, you are doing japa but your heart is not there in japa, you are not feeling that enthusiastic, and just imagine you speak to such of one of your friend who is a non-devotee, or your one of other family member who is a non-devotee, you tell, oh, I am chanting this but I am not feeling the taste. My mind is going here and there. What will be their immediate reaction? Oh, then stop doing this. Why you are wasting your time? You should do only if you are able to focus on that. Otherwise, what is the point in doing this? So they will try to discourage you. They will try to tell you to give up that activity. Whereas, if you talk about those challenges with a devotee, that, oh Prabhuji, I am trying to do japa, but somehow I am not able to focus, somehow my mind is going here and there, somehow I am not feeling the taste, what should I do? So the devotee, they will try to encourage you. Prabhuji, do not worry about this. Mataji, do not worry about this. Please continue chanting. Try to focus even though mind runs here and there, try to bring it back. Even if you are not feeling the taste, continue. Because we have so much of the anarthas, that's why we are not able to feel the taste. But remember, when you are chanting, your heart is becoming purified. So slowly the heart will become more and more purified, and then slowly you will start to get some taste also in chanting. So the devotees will try to encourage. But if you reveal your heart to some non-devotees, some worldly people, they will immediately pull you down. They will further discourage you. So that is the meaning of Sangha Vivarjita. One should not associate with worldly people, means do not reveal your heart, do not share your heart or your bhakti activities or your bhakti challenges with such people. Okay? So we should keep our heart in devotee association. We should give our heart to Krishna. So there is a very nice story, which is very instructive story for this particular point. You all may have heard this story. Okay? But how we relate that in our bhakti practice? There was a crocodile and a monkey. So this crocodile and a monkey become friends. So this crocodile, he become friends with this monkey, and monkey is living on the shore of the river on a tree branch, and this crocodile lives in the river. He comes on the shore and the monkey jumps onto his back, and the crocodile take him for a ride in the river. So they are spending nice time. One day this crocodile, as he is about to go to meet his friend monkey, he tells his wife, "Oh, I am going out to meet my friend." And wife of crocodile asked, "Who is this friend with whom you are spending so much time?" He said, "Oh, I have a friend, this monkey. I have made friendship with this monkey. He is my dear friend." And his wife said, "You have a friend monkey as your friend? You never told me about this. You are friend with the monkey." I love monkeys. I love to eat the monkey, especially the heart of the monkey. Bandar ka jo kaleja hai, I like to eat that. Why don't you invite your friend by some trick at home for dinner? And I want to eat monkey's kaleja, the heart of monkey. And this crocodile, he said, no, he is my friend. He is my genuine friend. I cannot do this to my friend. I cannot betray my friend. And the wife start crying. "Oh, you don't love me. You don't care for me." So this emotional blackmailing is not only in humans. Looks like this is in all the species. So this crocodile wife start crying. "Oh, if you don't care for me, I will go to my father's house. I will not stay here." So this crocodile, he thought, "Oh, I have to please my wife, I have to do this. So okay, I will bring this monkey somehow. I will not tell him, but indirectly I will bring him." So this time the crocodile goes to the monkey and tells, "I want to invite you to my home for dinner. So please come with me." So monkey, in his innocence, he thought, "This is my friend," and he jumped onto the back, and crocodile started floating into the river to go into his home, to take him to his wife. But this crocodile was also feeling this guilt that I am betraying my friend. So in the middle of the river, this crocodile told the monkey that actually my wife, she likes your heart, the heart of monkey, bandar ka jo kaleja hai, she likes to eat that. So today my wife is going to feast on your heart. And as soon as monkey heard this, he became scared, he became anxious. But then he stayed calm and used his intelligence. He told the crocodile, "Oh, Bhabiji want to eat my heart? Your wife want to eat my heart? Why you did not tell me earlier? If you could have told me earlier, I could have brought my heart with me. I left my heart at my home. I left the heart hanging on that tree. मैंने अपना कलेजा तो वहीं छोड़ दिया. So why don't you take me back and let me bring my heart back with you? Then we will go." And the crocodile said, "How is that possible? How can somebody leave the heart back at home?" Monkey said, "Why not? See, I am going to eat dinner at your home. For that I need my mouth and my stomach. I don't need my kaleja, my heart. So I left my heart at home. Why to carry unnecessary things?" So the crocodile came into his talk and he said, "Okay, we'll go back and you take your heart and then we'll go." So they came back to the shore, and as soon as they reached the shore, monkey jumped from the back and he climbed onto the tree and sat on the branch, and he told the crocodile, "You fool, can somebody leave behind their heart back? You wanted to cheat me, now you go back. I'm not coming." But the lesson, so this monkey, he used his intelligence to save his life. The lesson for us from this particular story, we should keep our heart at the feet of Krishna, not giving our heart to the worldly people, to the non-devotee association. We should not engage in such conversation where we get affected by their emotions. We can give our association to them, but don't take their association. Means we can affect them with our philosophy, with our emotions, but don't get affected by their emotions and their philosophy. Okay, that is the meaning of Sangha Vivarjita. Don't associate with worldly people. So Krishna, he tells at many places, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is quoting that one should be very careful not to associate with non-devotees. And Krishna is talking about all these different qualities the devotee should try to acquire. And Krishna finally says, those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga, who completely engage themselves with faith, making me as the supreme goal, they are very dear to me. So every verse, all these verses, text 13 through 20, at the end Krishna is saying, Bhakti Manasa me priya. That devotee is very dear to me. वो भक्त जो है वो मेरा प्रिय बन जाता है, वो भक्त मुझे प्यारा हो जाता है. So हमें भगवान को प्यारे होना है, not in the sense that okay we will immediately die if you become a devotee, but we will become dear to Krishna. And all these qualities develop in a devotee. All these qualities are considered as the godly qualities. Okay, the godly qualities means the qualities like the demigods, qualities like the gods. So now the question may come that if demigods really have all these good qualities, then why do we hear about some of the demigods committing some of the immoral activities? For example, we hear of Indra trying to seduce sage Gautam's wife, Ahilya, Brahma running after Vak. So why they commit such immoral activities? The point to understand is, in general, the Devatas, they are very virtuous. They have a special position. And the kind of activities, this kind of activities which we hear of them, they are very rare. It's not that they are just doing these activities only. These are very rare. Sometime they also become victim of Maya. They also end up committing some of the immoral activities. And they are spoken in the scriptures to illustrate some point. And what is this point? That even the exalted personalities, they can come under illusion. And when someone has a very high position, if somebody at a very high position commit even a small wrong act, it becomes a big deal. Okay, so when we hear of these Devi or the Devatas also sometime becoming victim and committing some of such activity, first of all, it's very rare. They can also come under illusion. And if they commit such activity, it's a big deal. It's spoken in the scriptures also. Basically to safeguard us, to give us clarity, understanding that we should always stay in the protection of Krishna to protect us from his illusory energy, Maya Devi. Okay? So the example, why their examples are given is just like, imagine if a child cries, it does not become a news. But if a grown-up person, he start to cry after losing something, small thing, a small bet or something small, if the grown-up person, a very powerful person, he start crying, then it is a newsworthy. So same way, when some of these Devatas also commit some such immoral activity, it is broadcasted. Okay, it's spoken about in the scriptures also. Because somebody at a high position, if commits this thing, then it is a big deal. But in general, we should understand that the Devi Devatas, they are also very virtuous. They have the qualities which are described here. Because they are also a devotee of the Lord. They are given some particular service. So all these qualities are described as godly qualities. And we can also develop those godly qualities when we engage in bhakti of the Lord. Okay. So here, again as a summary of this chapter, chapter 12, titled as Bhakti Yoga, Krishna spoke about what is better, worshipping the personal form of the Lord or the impersonal form. So out of these two, Krishna very clearly says worshipping the personal form is better. It's easy and sublime process, whereas worshipping the impersonal is very troublesome, it's very difficult. And Krishna says somebody who engages in my personal service, in the worship of my personal form, they can very easily attain me. I am the swift deliverer of them from this ocean of birth and death. And then in the process of bhakti also, Krishna gives many different options. First, highest is engage your consciousness in me. Smaranatmika bhakti. If you do not have natural attraction towards me, at least try to engage based on knowledge. Try to remember me. Manan Atmika bhakti. If you cannot do that also, then do abhyas yogena, following the rules and regulation. Okay, doing prescribed number of rounds, chanting, ekadashi vrata. If you cannot do that also, then do service for me, some activity. Engage in my work, like cleaning the temple, pot washing, picking the flowers, doing some grocery for Krishna. So like that. If you cannot do that also, then at least give some donation. Okay, start from there at least. Try to develop detachment from your possessions. So in that way, Krishna gives various options. And then further, Krishna talk about the qualities of devotees. That my devotee, they develop all these great qualities. They are equal to everyone. They are equal in all situations, be it fame and infamy, gain and loss, happiness or distress. So in all situations, they are equal. They are equal to everybody. They do not feel envy towards everybody. And they have their mind and intelligence completely absorbed in me. So in that way, such devotee becomes very dear to me. So that is chapter 12 of Bhakti Yoga. So we'll stop here and see if there are any questions or comments, any discussion points. Hare Krishna. Okay. Any question, comment, anybody? Hare Krishna, Bala Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Vrindanath Prabhu. Thank you so much for a wonderful class. There was so much covered. It's really good. But early on, you said something. I have a question for you. You talked about Mayavadis and Brahmavadis and stuff like that. Today, do we still have these groups? Do they worship? Do they do these things still?
There are many.
There are?
There are. So actually Prabhupada writes in one of the purports that you scratch any Hindus, okay, somewhere there is a tinge of Mayavad or the Brahmavad. Okay, because generally people will say, oh, Bhagwan to sab jagah hai, mandir mein kyun jana hai? You can feel God anywhere, everywhere. So like that sort of philosophy, that is Brahmavad. Okay, and there is a difference in Brahmavad and Mayavad. Brahmavadi, they do not deny the form of the Lord. They have more attraction for impersonal form, the Brahmajyoti. Whereas Mayavadi, they blaspheme the personal form of the Lord. They criticize the personal form. They deny the personal form of the Lord. So that is the difference. So they are big offenders towards the Lord. Okay, like the other religions, the Abrahamic religions, they criticize the different forms in Hinduism, right? In that way, they are Mayavadi. In that way, they are Mayavadi. They are criticizing, oh, God cannot be like this. Hindu says they have this God, this form is God, and all that. How can God have this form or that form? So, in one sense, they are all Mayavadi.
Yeah, that's very true.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Bhagyashri Mataji, Manoj Prabhu, you have any question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Pavni.
Like you said that if you achieve Brahman, it's like peaceful and like nothing is there to do. So how long do you stay there? Like forever or just like how you travel?
So that is the point, that even if somebody attains to that position of going to Brahmajyoti, they cannot stay there for very long because there is no enjoyment there. Right? It's just like sitting in an empty room without any activity. So how long somebody can be happy there in that position? So that's why Prabhupada writes that such people, even though they attain Brahmajyoti, they again come down and they engage in some of these philanthropic activities or something. Because our nature as the living entity, as a soul, is we are active. We cannot be inactive at any time. And being in the position of Brahmajyoti is being inactive. So that is not our natural position. So one cannot stay there for long. They will come back again in this material world and they will try to engage in some welfare activities for somebody else, as a anthropomorphic activities. So in that way, staying in Brahmajyoti is not very natural. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Manoj Prabhu.
So you told the stages of Bhakti, Prabhu. Like I can relate it to myself. Like I started seva in temple, then I got interest in japa. Like what are the steps here, or is there any saturation for this one? Like how to make progress further after this one? Like what are the stages?
So stages Krishna is describing here, that okay, that is the exact stages which Krishna has described, that okay, if you cannot do this, then do that. If you cannot do that, then do this. So we can think of the reverse order also, that okay, I started with maybe just giving some donation once in a while. Then I started doing some service also. Then from the service I came to the stage of Abhyas Yoga. I started practicing. Okay? So now with practice, we need to mature that practice. Okay? Within that practice also there are graduation. There is a gradual progress. We continue to increase our practice. Okay? And then we need to come to the stage of remembering Krishna all the time in every situation. Okay, with that practice. And then finally Krishna says the best is that spontaneous attraction. Smaranatmika bhakti. That one is spontaneously attracted towards Krishna. They are constantly remembering Krishna, they never forget Krishna. Like Prahlad Maharaj. So these are the different stages. So we can think right now, okay, we are practicing sadhana bhakti, that abhyas yogena, following certain rules and regulation. So in that also we try to progress.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
I have a quick comment, Prabhu.
Yes, Bala Prabhu.
While you were describing these processes and about service, and then they don't have ruchi for japa yet, they will come later, Pavni was vigorously pointing her finger at her father in the video. I just wanted to point that out.
So yes, Manoj Prabhu is example here in front of us, and I know many such examples. Okay, not just this one example. I know many such examples where they may have interest in doing some service, but they are not interested in actual practice of bhakti, in the sense of chanting or observing Ekadashi or following other rules and regulation. So Krishna says, okay, that's also fine. At least you start with service. So eventually you will get interested in the next level also. So it is just being patient. Krishna is also patient with us, and we also need to be patient with others. Right? Krishna is also very patient. Krishna is giving options to us and to everybody. And so same way we also need to be patient, not becoming impatient. Oh, why I'm spending, that person has been coming and why not he's not becoming serious. Everybody has their journey. So like Rupa Goswami, they are traveling from here and there all over the places, and they meet the different villagers and all. They will speak to them, tell them about bhakti principles, but they are very patient with everybody, right? They are just very gently behaving with everybody, asking for their welfare also, that are you all right, your family is all right and all. Because they are not pushing anybody that, oh, you have to do this only, then I will accept you, or then I will talk to you. But they know in their heart that everybody has their journey, and eventually, while engaged in some service in Krishna's bhakti, they will gradually move to the next stage.
Yes, Prabhu. Wonderful.
Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. I think we will stop here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.